Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? Version 2.4 special program was kind of insane with the depth of content and quality being showcased for Septimont. Now, because of the nature of this video, I want to put out a spoiler warning for what is to come, because the information is written in a made-up transcript by Kuro Games specifically for Septimont. Everything is coming from the special program in this hidden transcript, and once you decode the words, it's GG. All I can say is that if Wuthering Waves and Kuro keep increasing the quality of content like this, like we've seen from version 1.0 to where we are now, we may actually have Game of the Decade on our hands. And yes, Game of the Decade, not even Game of the Year. Now hear me out. The world building quality from area to characters in correlation to their cultural inspiration is something that you only really see in AAA quality games. Sometimes games take a small portion of it and make their story. Wuthering Waves is taking a big chunk of it because they're that good. Alright, that's enough glazing, enjoy the video. As we've mentioned, the secret to all the information in this video comes from the Septimontian script. Just on a side note, as I'm editing this, I see Kuro have posted a little bit about this, so if Kuro do reveal the extra information we're going to be covering, then I will remove the spoiler tag. And in the final segment of this video, I'll give a brief preview on how I decoded it, because I think there are some people that would like to see that. I'd say this one is a bit more challenging than the Raguna one from version 2.0, but it was still pretty fun. So, in Septimont, we have a culture that believes in the hero, not a divinity. More of a sight than faith type of belief. And in previous lore it mentions that Septimont has, or at least had, a government. The main tourist attractions are the gladiator fights, where heroes of 4 finalists compete in a series of epic showdowns to become the champion or the great Aegon. Now there are 4 factions that we know of thanks to the Septimont translator and this little advert that showed during the redemption code. First team is the Blue Furies with this symbol of what looks like a boat, and yes, that is Furies, not furries. Then we have the Vulcan Mining with the symbol of what looks like oars. This is massive in terms of lore implications, which we'll touch on in a bit. Thirdly, we have the Beast Beneath with a paw of a beast-like creature, and if you're like me, you may think that Lupa belongs to this faction, but then I eventually saw that Lupa is actually shown in the final faction, the Bow of Legions. So this got me thinking that Lupa may actually be from the Beast Beneath because of her wolf-like forte and acumen, and she was later cast out of that group for whatever known reason and became part of the Bow of Legions. And this would make the final showcase between the Beast Beneath and the Bow of Legions a bit more intense. So yeah, if this is actually the case, then Kuro kind of spoiled it themselves, although perhaps their made-up transcript was supposed to mask it. And if you want to know who wins the final, then that may be the Beast Beneath, because they are showcased with a special colored merchandise as well as a default color for their sigils. Now if Lupa is representing the Bow of Legions and loses in the final, that would be the biggest turnaround because Lupa has been undefeated according to the background of this special program. Part of what makes this Gladiator tournament a technical masterpiece in Wuthering Waves is the segment that mentions the championship takes place once every 4 years. If you watch any sporting events, then you'll know the grandest event of all, the biggest tournament of all, happens every 4 years. Football World Cup or Soccer World Cup, depending on where you are, the Olympics and other sports like that. This idea of these sporting events happening every 4 years, the Olympics itself, is from the ancient Roman Greek traditions of holding these major sporting contests once every 4 years, even calling the 4-year period an Olympiad. So this Aegon of Champions is taking place once every Olympiad or once every 4 years. But because so many tourists come to Septimont for these gladiator fights, you may be wondering what happens between the 4 years of every Aegon of Champions tournament. Well, the name used in the background of the special program is Gladiator's regular season, and this is where we see an undefeated Lupa leading and some unfamiliar names as well. So it's during this regular season that Lupa really made a name for herself. Luckily for Lupa, for all of her efforts and publicity from the gladiator fights, Lupa has now become the face of an energy drink called Hardpaw. The advertisement has Lupa written on it and what seems to be Yenshin. I can confirm all the characters except the X, but I believe it's an X because Shin is heart in Chinese. So that's just a cool little Easter egg there. Now that we've covered the 4 factions, I did mention that Vulcan has some major significance to world building. Vulcan is the Roman name for the god of fire known as Hephaestus to the Greeks. Vulcan is the creator of some pretty epic things like Achilles' shield and a figure known as Talos. Talos having the same weakness as Achilles. But why did the Romans give him the name Vulcan? The reason behind this is because of volcanoes. Romans used materials formed under intense heat and high pressure in their architecture and in their craftsmanship. The best naturally occurring source of this on the earth is a volcano. If you go beyond the earth to the ancient Romans and Greeks, that would be the sun. Now Augusta has entered the chat. Augusta, accredited as the sun, wears an aureole of the sun, the same way that the Greeks and Romans depicted Helios or Sol. So this may be an indication of the faction being named in honor of Augusta. Now if we take this same principle, we can apply it to Juno. We've spoken about how she may be inspired by a combination of Selene, Aristea and Artemis, as this is something similar to Alyssa. Alyssa is a bit more on the Aristea side of things as her occupation is law and justice. This is where the Bow of Legions come in because they seem to hold this philosophical, scholarly and studious standing with the books and literature as part of their symbol. Juno's drop item is this golden looking bow, and this would tie in with the theme of literature and philosophy. And we know that Lupe is also part of the Bow of Legions, so it's interesting to note because this may be why we see these two together. Apart from the mythological and ancient side of Rome and Greece, we also have the real history that has taken place. Figures like Hadrian, Julius Caesar, Augusta Caesar, and Alexander the Great have all been implemented into the story of Wuthering Waves. And it's not only historical figures, but also time frame and religion as well. If you pay close attention to the glider cosmetic showcased in the livestream, the caption on it will translate to Vini, Vidi, Vici, which translates to I came, I saw, I conquered. And apologies if I mispronounced the Roman part. This is a famous quote by Julius Caesar, who is the great uncle of Augusta Caesar. Both of these characters were in leadership positions during ancient Roman times, and Augustus is clearly the name used as reference for Augusta, perhaps adding to the world building suggestion that Augusta is the governor. So if you're wondering why I glazed Kuro so much at the start, it's because to have this entire world building all converge smoothly and correlate to real life history and literature show that apart from listening to their fans, Kuro want to honor their global player base. Right now, we have ancient Greece and Rome. Next, and it's looking more likely thanks to the Cyberpunk collab, we are going to have Electra Rover in a modern world era, with one possible city being something like Japan's nightlife or cyberpunk. And this will be followed by ancient Egyptian, Persian, Zoroastrianism, and other ancient Middle Eastern cultures, or Fusion Rover. And this is also when we'll most likely see the end of Scar. Oh wait, I just spoiled my next videos. To put it simply, Kuro is showing that they want to get it right with their fans. Alrighty, and just to end off, let me take you through how to decode the hidden transcript or Kuro's made up transcript and figure out the words. So right here I have my old one from version 2.0 and then I literally just clear it and then put the new one on top of it. Alrighty, so the first thing that you want to do is look for big keywords where you know the meaning of the word. In version 2.0 it was quite easy because the Raguna transcript was quoted with the English transcript. So in the English program they would say new weapons, and right underneath it would be the rinascitan or Ragunan transcript of new weapons. So you can get a lot of the characters that are part of new weapon for that in Raguna, and that's what we have over here. So the two keywords from the Septimont or 2.4 special program can be found that actually say Septimont, and this is only on screen for a few seconds, so you do need something to look frame by frame, because yeah, that is how fast it goes in real time.
So from this we have Septimont, S-E-P-T-I-M-O-N-T,
But the first one that I did was actually champion, and this is from this little table standing that's here in the advert. And you scrub for a bit, you get to this part here that says champion.
So here we have CHAMPION, and that is what we followed. CHAMPION.
And we have the Septimont one.
So SE, P, we already had the P, T, we did not have a T, I, MON, P. Here we go.
Now with the characters we already have, we can start looking for small words where we have 1 or 2 characters already. And here we already had P and then A. And we see Looper, so we can assume this may be Looper. So we take this as an L and this as a U, but then we need to confirm it. And that's what brings us back to this part here where we have names with the faction icon. So we have the beast beneath, we have I think this is the Blue Furies, the Bow of Legions is this tree, and the Vulcan mining. And right here we actually have the names of the factions. So it's quite clear for me. I can take it and put it in my Photoshop just as a layer. I think these are the layers. Boom, 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 and boom. These are all the names. So the 4 names of the factions. And then I just put a little note there of what I know, what I don't know. Oh, let me take away that one. So we started with Blue Furies and East Beneath. So obviously both of these have the same symbol. Over here they start with the same symbol. So whatever this starts with has to make sense for whatever this starts with. And that would be a B. And that's when we looked at the Bow of Legions, which is this next one over here. Started with the same symbol and we knew the rest of the characters. And that's what leads us to unlocking new words. So we go through frame by frame.
Not like too slowly, but you need to check every frame. And you look for words that are written in this transcript because this special program has a mixture of the rinascitan transcript. And on the billboard over here, this is still the rinascitan or Ragunan transcript, not the Septimont transcript.
So for anyone interested, this says once every 4 years as part of the little advert here that showed Septimont. Once every 4 years, and it's the Gladiator Championship. So now that we have a few amounts of words that we can actually use, we can start to translate bigger words, which would be here in the background of the special program. And this translates to Gladiator, Regular Season, Arena, Victory, Record, and then we have Looper. And on the other side, you can actually see that Looper is undefeated, 10-0. Then over here we have MIDORI, so Midori. Then we have GULIN, and I think the name will carry on if I can fast forward a few frames here. Okay, the name does not carry on, but Gulin so far is that name. And then we have ALBIN, and it carries on, so Albina. So yeah, these are characters that we don't know yet. There are some angles where you can go and really look for it, but because we didn't know the names, I didn't bother looking at it, and it's not really on the featured names as well. The name that's on this medal is also Battle Start. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video.